Peter, Andrew, James, John, and Philip were all from Bethsaida. Nathanael was from Canaan. Matthew was working at the tax collector's booth in Capernaum. And the only other disciple that we know for sure about their hometown is Judas Iscariot, because Iscariot is the epithet that means of Karioth. The others, again, we have no idea where they came from. It doesn't sound like a list of the people you would choose to found a church that changed the world. In fact, the list is so undistinguished that you can only think that the only reason that there were 12 of them, rather than just the 3 that get almost all the attention, is that the original plan was for there to be a disciple for each of the 12 tribes of Israel. Because some of the names on the list have no other reason for being there. And yet, these 12 people, all of whom we know little about and some of whom we know almost nothing, with the help of God, founded a church that changed the history of the world, that shaped the history of the world, and has at this moment just short of 2.5 billion living members. And figuring out how many Christians there have been in the history of the church is beyond my mathematical abilities. 4 billion, 5 billion, hard to know. These people, these fishermen, and these people whose hometown and whose jobs, whose backgrounds, we know absolutely nothing about, founded God's church. The only explanation for that, as they did God's work. Because again, they don't have the resume to pull off what they pulled off. That is important to us, not just for historical reasons, but because it gives us encouragement and strength to go forward from here. God did not, in the case of the apostles, and does not now, call the equipped. The people who are obviously, the prestigious people, the powerful people, the people that it would make sense to enlist when you're trying to get something done, aren't necessarily the people that actually get called to do God's work. If I may testify for just a second. When I was in high school, people laughed at one of my first attempts at public speaking, and I wasn't attempting to be humorous. I think things have changed a little bit since then. What God does, rather than take the easy way out and call the equipped, is God equips the called. So if you have a call from God to do something, God will make it possible for that something to happen. Fairly far off of God's path as he was living his life. So far, in fact, that his lifestyle made him sick.